Hello friends, today I stepped out of my comfort zone a little bit and I created a little mini album that uses a traveler's notebook style binding, and it also features some ideology pieces. I have a lace baseboard frame here and some wings and some other items just kind of throughout the book. You can see a full flip through of this little mini at the end of this video. This project is part of the Valentines Day Hop. It is for the Paper Crafting YouTubers Facebook group. I will link the group down below in case you want to join us in the future. This actually starts out with some vintage Valentines that my husband picked up for me at a thrift store recently. So I'm going to be using those. I also am going to be using my Sizzix. I think this is Tim Holtz Chapter 3. This is a specimen, I believe, with the mini file folders, so I use some of those. And then I kind of dig through my ideology stash and find a couple pieces that I want to put in the book. I have a different bucket for the ideology ephemera and stickers, and so I rifled through that as well and picked out a few things. Since this is Valentine's Day inspired, I did want to use a little bit of red, and as I was going through my fancy paper scraps, I found some corrugated paper, so I'm going to use that. And then I try to figure out how to focus on this piece of chipboard, and I go ahead and I make 3 different marks across the bottom and top of this piece of chipboard. This is 6 inches long and about 1.5 inches or so, and I punch those 3 holes on both sides, and that's what my twine or my elastic cording is going to go through. Now this chunk of chipboard really is used just to strengthen and reinforce the corrugated paper. The corrugated paper is not as sturdy as the chipboard, and I wanted it to be able to hold all the twine and have some tension and not buckle. So the piece of corrugated paper is as tall, but just a little wider than this piece of chipboard. And so here I just line up the paper and use the holes in the chipboard. I mark those with a pen so that I can punch them out with the same spacing. Now I made this binding as simple as possible. Once I had my holes punched out of the spine, I went ahead and taped these pieces together with some washi tape. So these are 6 inches tall, and the front and back covers are about 5 inches wide. And I just go ahead and line up some of the ideology washi tape. I think it's called design tape from the Christmas 22 release, and I just adhere that front and back. I make sure that there's like maybe a 1/16 of an inch in between each piece so that they bend freely, and you'll see that here in a second. This tape is not super sticky, so I went ahead and added some glue just for good measure. And then I folded the washi tape around the side and added another piece on the inside of the book, on each side of the spine. And here's where you can see that 1/16 of an inch gap in between the two pages. It might be less than that, just enough so that these two pages can bend freely and that there won't be friction in between the two pieces of the corrugated board or corrugated paper. And then I do the same thing on the other side. Now you're probably familiar with the traveler's notebook binding, but in each set of holes I went ahead and wound some elastic cording through 3 times. So that gives me a total of 9 pieces. And here I'm just taking some random papers and adding one each into each of the bindings. Oh, looks like I put 2 on this one. I used some vellum, some handmade paper, and some of those tiny file folders, as well as a mixed media tag and a few other things in here, and just kind of added them in randomly. Here I use a lace baseboard frame from Ideology for the front cover. I glue that down, and then I also glue in some transparent wings. That's an Ideology project as well, and I'm not sure the name of it, but I'm going to link as many of these as I can down below. This is my turnip Valentine, and for whatever reason I decided that it needed butterfly wings on the back as well. But instead of gluing it to my turnip, I went ahead and glued it right down to my cover, and then I added the turnip on the top with some foam tape. I figured that the combination of the foam tape and the corrugated paper were not going to stick very well, so I went ahead and added a layer of glue just for good measure. Now we'll just do a quick little flip through of my book. Again, this is part of a Valentine's Day hop, so it is inspired by vintage Valentines cards, but also just from some photos that I have of people who are kind of paired up and enjoying each other's company. Not really Valentines, but friends, family, me and my husband. And so that's kind of how this was inspired. I use a piece of flair on the front as well as one of the label stickers. Here I have the metal number 2 from one of the embellishment packs. I use some cards, some flashcards, and some chit chat, and then I don't know what the snarky ones are called. Are they called snarky chat? And here's some older photos. I use some of those letter tiles to spell out some of the names throughout the book, and you can see that I use more of the label stickers, another piece of the metal arrow, and more Valentines. That picture on the left is matted on a piece of cardstock that is embossed, dry embossed. This one is a circus note from one of the ephemera packs. That is my dad and my aunt in that little slide cover, and that one says together. I used some little frames from K & Company to just kind of highlight parts of some of the photos. Here's another one with some of the ephemera. This is a butterfly, I think that's from Memoir, and another one of the word flashcards. Picture on the left is on a piece of vellum, and I'm not a tearer. I don't really tear paper, but I did for that little piece of vellum backing paper. So there are some Polaroids throughout the book. I really wasn't sure about gluing them down, so I tried to add the glue just to the frame piece, the white piece, and they seem to be adhering just fine. I'm using art glitter glue, and that's pretty strong glue. It dries really quick. So I've got a few more photos. You can see here I used the washi tape on some handmade paper. And then we have a little metal ideology tag that says "In My Heart." This next page features a tiny clip. I love the tiny clips. They are very fun. This one just holds a flashcard on top of that photo page. You can see that photo there is just a duplicate on the right and left. Here we have a sticker that says, "That's a terrible idea, what time?" And some more of the little letter squares. I'm not sure what those are called. Letter tiles? Some more photos with the label stickers. This is another one of those Sizzix file folders. And the slide frame cover. I really like the look of the vellum throughout this book. It is see-through. I was really kind of worried about what it would look from the back, but really there's enough interest on the page that you don't really look through it to whatever is on the back of the other side. Here's another one of those little frames that just focuses on one part of the photo. And then I have some initial tiles here with another piece of ephemera that's using a tiny clip. And then I just left the back of it blank. Please remember that liking and commenting on my videos helps grow my channel and get my ideas out to more crafters. I'm going to link other participants and information about this hop in the description box below. Have a great day.